Throughout history, empires have measured their strength by the size of their armies and the scale of their conquests. Think of Rome's disciplined legions, Britain's mighty navy ruling the seas, and the thunderous roar of cannons that once decided the fate of nations. These were the symbols of power, the tools by which empires expanded and enforced their will. Today, America stands as the world's preeminent military power, fielding advanced aircraft carriers and fleets of fighter jets. Yet, its true global dominance is rooted in something far less visible, but infinitely more pervasive: the US dollar. The dollar has become America's most potent weapon, a tool that shapes economies, influences governments, and punishes adversaries, all without a single shot being fired. It is a silent force operating behind the scenes, yet its impact is felt in every corner of the globe. Unlike the empires of old, America's influence now flows through vast, interconnected financial networks, not through occupying armies or colonial outposts. The reach of the dollar extends far beyond borders, touching lives and shaping destinies worldwide. Consider this: when a company in Brazil buys oil from Saudi Arabia, or a Japanese bank seeks a safe haven for its assets, or even when an Indian firm settles an international contract, the transaction almost always happens in dollars. This global reliance is no accident. It's by design. This dependence gives the United States a unique lever over the world economy, allowing it to reward allies, impose sanctions, and even cripple adversaries, all through the power of its currency. In the 21st century, the real battles are no longer fought with swords or guns, but on balance sheets and financial markets. Economic sanctions, trade restrictions, and currency controls have become the new weapons of influence. The story of the dollar is, in many ways, the story of a new kind of empire, one built not on the threat of force, but on the world's trust in a single currency. Empires rise and fall, but the dollar's dominance has created a financial empire unlike any before it. The dollar's reach is the true foundation of American power, quietly shaping the global order and influencing the fate of nations from behind the scenes. In today's interconnected world, money is might, and the US dollar is the mightiest of all. The dollar began not as a tool of empire, but as a humble solution to a chaotic financial landscape. In the aftermath of the American Revolution, the young nation found itself awash in a sea of worthless currencies and foreign coins, each vying for legitimacy. This financial disarray made trade difficult and economic stability elusive. The need for a unified currency was clear. The Coinage Act of 1792 was a pivotal moment, creating the dollar and tying it to the tangible value of gold and silver. This gave the dollar real value and earned the public's trust. For over a century, this metallic standard anchored the dollar, fueling domestic growth and providing a stable foundation for the burgeoning American economy. During this time, the British pound was the undisputed ruler of world finance, while the dollar remained a regional player, slowly gaining strength. As America's economy surged in the early 20th century, the dollar's influence began to grow, reflecting the nation's increasing industrial and economic power. The creation of the Federal Reserve in 1913 was a significant step, bringing much-needed stability and control to the American financial system. The devastation of two world wars left Europe's economies in ruins, while the United States emerged strong, holding most of the world's gold reserves. With the world in flux, the stage was set for the dollar to rise to prominence on the global stage. From these humble beginnings, the dollar was poised to become the world's dominant currency, a symbol of American economic might. The world was about to change, and the dollar was at the heart of this transformation, ready to shape the future of global finance. In 1944, as war raged, delegates from 44 nations met at Bretton Woods to design a new economic order. Their solution pegged global currencies to the US dollar, which was itself tied to gold. The dollar became the anchor of world finance, backed by America's vast gold reserves. This system brought stability and fueled decades of growth. Central banks everywhere needed dollars, creating constant demand. But as global trade expanded, more dollars circulated than gold could back. In 1971, President Nixon ended the dollar's convertibility to gold. The Nixon shock. The gold link was gone, but the world kept using dollars out of habit and necessity. The dollar's reign continued, now floating free. Bretton Woods crowned the dollar king, and even its collapse couldn't dethrone it. The world's financial system was now dollar-centric. America's currency had become the world's. The age of the dollar had begun. The dollar's dominance gives America an exorbitant privilege. This means the United States enjoys unique advantages that no other country can claim. The dollar isn't just a currency, it's the backbone of the global financial system, trusted by governments, businesses, and individuals worldwide. The US can borrow cheaply, run persistent deficits, and spend beyond its means, luxuries no other nation enjoys. Because the world wants dollars, America can print more without facing the same risks as others. This allows the US government to finance its ambitions, from infrastructure to military spending, with relative ease. The world's demand for dollars keeps US interest rates low and insulates America from currency risk. When global uncertainty rises, investors flock to the dollar, making it a safe haven. This constant demand acts as a buffer, protecting the US economy from shocks that might destabilize other nations. American companies trade in their own currency. Foreign partners bear the exchange risk. This gives US businesses a competitive edge, simplifying international deals and reducing costs. For foreign firms, dealing in dollars is often a necessity, not a choice. The US acts as the world's banker, providing liquidity in crises and wielding influence through institutions like the IMF and World Bank. When financial turmoil strikes, nations look to America for stability and support, reinforcing its central role. These institutions, based in Washington, reinforce the dollar's central role. Their policies and decisions often reflect US interests, further cementing America's leadership in global finance. The US can reward allies or punish adversaries by controlling access to the dollar system. Sanctions, for example, can freeze entire economies out of the global marketplace, demonstrating the immense leverage that comes with dollar supremacy. This financial power shapes global events as much as any army. Economic influence can change the course of nations, sometimes more effectively than military might. The House always has the edge, and, in global finance, America is the House. The rules are set in its favor, and the world plays by them. The dollar is both shield and sword. It protects American interests, and can be wielded as a powerful tool to influence others. To rule the world's money is to rule the world's fate. The flow of dollars determines who prospers and who struggles, shaping destinies on a global scale. The dollar's privilege is unmatched. As long as the world trusts in the dollar, America will remain at the center of global power. The dollar isn't just a privilege, it's a weapon. America can isolate adversaries by cutting them off from the dollar-based system. Most global dollar transactions pass through US banks, giving Washington extraordinary reach. Sanctions can freeze assets, cripple economies, and force compliance worldwide. Iran's banking sector was cut off, devastating its economy and forcing negotiations. After Russia's annexation of Crimea, US sanctions targeted banks and energy firms, restricting access to capital and technology. Sanctions can be precise, targeting individuals or regimes without bombs or troops. The threat of losing dollar access compels global banks to comply. Financial warfare is often more effective than military force. The US can project power with a keystroke. In the modern world, controlling money flows is mightier than controlling territory. The dollar is America's silent enforcer. Its reach is global, its impact profound. The dollar's supremacy endures because of deep, self-reinforcing advantages. US financial markets are the world's largest and most liquid, attracting trillions in global investment. Oil and other key commodities are priced in dollars, ensuring constant demand. The network effect makes the dollar the default for global trade. Everyone uses it because everyone else does. The IMF, World Bank, and SWIFT system all reinforce the dollar's centrality. Even attempts to bypass the dollar run into the reality of its entrenched infrastructure. Displacing the dollar would require a global, coordinated shift, an immense challenge. The system feeds on itself, making change risky and disruptive. The world is hardwired for the dollar. Its dominance is not accidental, it's structural. The dollar's grip is strong. The dollar's reign faces new challengers. China is pushing to internationalize the yuan, building payment systems and using its Belt and Road Initiative to promote its currency. Russia is de-dollarizing, shifting reserves to gold and euros, and trading with China in national currencies. Other nations, wary of US sanctions, seek alternatives. Technology brings new threats. Cryptocurrencies and stablecoins offer ways to transact outside traditional banking. While volatile, these innovations hint at a future less dependent on the dollar. No rival yet matches the dollar's liquidity, safety, or network effects. But the search for alternatives is real and growing. The dollar's challengers are persistent, if not yet powerful. The foundation is strong, but cracks are appearing. The contest for currency supremacy has begun. The dollar's ultimate strength is trust. Its value rests on global faith in America's stability, rule of law, and economic stewardship. Investors trust the U.S. to honor its debts and protect property rights, unlike rivals with opaque or unpredictable systems. Political stability and the Federal Reserve's credibility reinforce this trust. Even when America acts in self-interest, no alternative commands equal confidence. The euro is fragmented. The yuan is constrained by capital controls. The dollar's the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry. Its power is not perfection but reliability. Trust is hard to build, easy to lose. For now, the world still believes in the dollar. With great power comes great responsibility. The Federal Reserve's decisions ripple across the globe, affecting economies everywhere. Overusing sanctions or acting purely in self-interest risks eroding the trust that underpins the dollar's dominance. America must balance domestic needs with its role as the world's banker. Massive debt and short-sighted policies could threaten the dollar's future. The privilege of the dollar is not a birthright. It must be earned and maintained. The story of the dollar is the story of modern power, an empire built on money, not armies. Its endurance depends on wise stewardship. The world's faith in the dollar is America's greatest asset and its greatest test. The empire of money must be governed wisely to endure. The future of global power is written in dollars.